In this video that I uploaded yesterday to the Representative Press channel, I featured a blog post by Peter Hart which exposes more media bias for Israel. And in today's video, I'll show you a video clip by him which features another example of media bias for Israel.
The clearest thing about the Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip is that the Palestinian people are suffering. Welcome back to Fair TV. I'm Peter Hart. The clearest thing about the Israeli attacks on the Gaza Strip is that the Palestinian people are suffering. Over 200 have been killed. The majority of them are civilians. Several dozen are children. That's what makes the U.S. media's strive for balance so jarring. A report from Gaza must apparently be paired with an update from Tel Aviv to show that Israelis are fearful too. One might even conclude from this kind of coverage that media value Israeli lives more than Arab lives. That might sound harsh, but consider CBS Face the Nation host Bob Schieffer. On his July 13th program, he hosted two Israeli guests, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Ambassador Ron Dermer, and just one Palestinian, Ambassador Man Rashid Arakat. But it wasn't just about that imbalance. On several occasions, Schieffer went out of his way to express genuine concern for Israeli fears about rocket attacks coming from Gaza.
I think this war really came home to a lot of Americans this morning. While I was interviewing the Prime Minister, the air raid sirens went off over Tel Aviv, and then before the interview was over, we heard the people in the background telling people they could come out from the shelters.
Schieffer repeated this several times in the show. Those rocket warnings clearly affected him, and he asserted Americans felt the same way. But the day he was saying this, U.S. newspapers were reporting an Israeli strike on a center for disabled adults, and an attack on a house where a Hamas police official was. But those deaths apparently did not bring the war home for Bob Schieffer. Their lives did not even register.
And here's a clip from the 5th video in this playlist, featuring another great report from Peter Hart. It's another example of media bias in favor of Israel's agenda, which is an illegal agenda, I'll point out right here. Israel is illegally annexing more and more land in the West Bank, and the U.S. media covers for Israel's crime by repeatedly neglecting to report that to the American people. Israel is the aggressor, and what it's doing in the Gaza Strip is a slaughter of innocent civilians and cannot be deemed self-defense, because Israel is on the offense. It's going over into the West Bank and taking more and more land and oppressing Palestinians, rounding up Hamas members, rearresting them, brutalizing more Palestinians in another fabricated pretext where they cynically exploited the kidnapping of 3 Israeli teens who were in the West Bank. They weren't in Israel. If Israel's so concerned about their civilians, why don't they keep them out of the territories which they have no legal right to be in? U.S. media never points that out either. It's called Israel Kills, but Israeli aggression is not media focus. Media bias exposed.
This Associated Press report referred to the photo of Omar's body being held by his father, BBC cameraman Jihad al-Masharawi, as an image that became a symbol of what Palestinians said was Israeli aggression. Of course, what Palestinians said was Israeli aggression was, in fact, Israeli aggression. But that's clearly not what is considered newsworthy here.